Howdy peeps. So I'm here with Raven.
I can't hear you right now.
You can't hear me at all? I'm not on mute. You can't hear me at all? Can everybody else hear me? You heard me like 2 minutes ago when I was backstage. Hello. Okay, so Abby said she can hear us. Do you want to, I don't know, go out and come back in? Let's see if that'll work. Because you could hear me 5 minutes ago, and that's weird. Okay, Anthony can hear me, so it's your end, Dan. Can you hear me now? No?
I can't hear you.
Okay, go out of the backstage and then come back in.
There's some problem with the sound. I can't hear you.
I have no idea why. I can only think if you go out and come back in. Sorry about this, peeps. We was literally talking 5 minutes ago and it was all working fine. Typical. Just wait for him to come back in. Hope everyone's having a great day. Hope everyone's got an exciting weekend planned. Hopefully we'll get this sorted. The joys of live technology. Okay, can you hear me now?
Hi. I still can't hear you.
No.
No sound.
You need... Man... I should just come through on your phones. We don't understand why. Technology, man. Fuck. Right. Now, can you hear me?
Yes. Finally.
Can you hear me now? Yes. You can? Definitely?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank fuck for that. So, everybody, this is Draven.
Yeah.
He's been my best friend of 4 years now. That's gone like very, very quick. And he also grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, so I thought it would be cool to have a chat with him about how he grew up as a witness and why he left, and some stuff that we've done together, activism, and that kind of stuff. So if you're ready, Dan, after that stressful intro, do you want to tell us like how you and your parents became to be Jehovah's Witnesses?
Right. It all started maybe a year before I was born, or while my mother was carrying me. She started studying with some J-dubs, and well, I was the first of the kids, the first of my siblings not to get baptized, and in the you know, shortly after birth at the church, which my mother was part of before J-dubs. Yeah.
Did you feel pressured, and at what age did you feel pressured that you should get baptized?
I used to go to large assemblies, like, you know, regional ones and that. And there was always somebody really young getting baptized, and they were always getting praise.
Yeah.
And, you know, kind of the parents sort of always nudged me. I mean, my mother, because my father wasn't interested in in going to any church or anything like that, or religion. So yeah, I was kind of subtly nudged. See, like, you know, look what a good example that kid is, and how could you could do the same, you know.
Yeah, they kind of guilt trip you into feeling like you should be baptized, because I know like when I was 13 I did it, but I've spoke about that before. I did it because all my friends were doing it, and I was told that if I didn't and Armageddon comes tomorrow, then if I'm not baptized I'm going to die. So at 13 I was just totally scared into getting baptized. So how did your mum handle the fact that your dad didn't want any part of the religion? Because that must have been awkward on her.
I don't know how she felt about it, but I saw she didn't like, you know, him not being interested in this. Hello, Abby, and hi, Aunt. So you know, she kept, you know, reminding him, and, you know, whatever, inviting him to go to meetings and to assemblies and so on. And he was sort of apathetic about the whole thing for many years.
Right.
But yeah, the first time I came into the UK, which was in 2010, I think, my father started going to meetings, and he then got baptized, and, you know, he became J-dubs as well. So yeah.
And they currently are still Jehovah's Witnesses now, yeah?
As far as I know, yes.
And how many siblings have you got that are witnesses?
All of them, which is 4. So
4.
yeah.
So how did you find at school being a Jehovah's Witness? Did you find that hard?
Yes, it was, yeah. I lived in a small village, quite isolated, not that many kids around in school. I mean, there were 4 classes, 4 grades, sort of, you know what I mean? Like, it was primary, it was like from 6 to 10, 11, 12-year-olds. They were all in the same sort of room together in one class, sort of. So, you know, the school I went to in my village was really small. But yeah, pretty much everybody except for myself, they were following the other religion, which was popular around there. So it was Orthodox Christianity. So
Okay.
yeah.
So was you made to like have to be excused from certain classes and assembly and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, there was religion class, which I think I tried to get out of because I wasn't I wasn't agreeing with that religion. Um, what can I say? I tried to get out of it. I think I couldn't for some reason, and every time it came to like there was some kind of patriotic song in the school homework and so on. I wasn't allowed to study it or learn it or sing it, and so that was another thing. Yeah.
And was you also not allowed to do any after school activities or go to any parties with school friends?
I mean, I remember I went on one school trip. As far as I remember, that was it for most of my school time spent at school. Yeah, I didn't go many.
Even as children, like a major part of our life was door knocking and going to meetings and studying. Did you actually enjoy any of that?
I enjoyed that I had a friend, and when I went to the meetings, I would talk to him and play around and stuff when I was a kid, and that was the main reason why I went. I mean, I tried to answer questions and be a bit active. When I was starting to grow up towards being a teenager and that. Uh,
So
and sorry, go on.
No, go on.
Just wanted to mention, like, there was a middle-aged couple who always fell asleep during the meetings, and I always thought as a kid, how could they fall asleep during a meeting? That's rude, and. But then as I grew up, I started falling asleep, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I did a lot.
I mean,
And yeah, go on.
I must have been, I don't know, 15, 16 when I first had something like this happen. Like I went to a meeting and I was just sitting down and listening and looking, and then all of a sudden just nodding off. But yeah, I couldn't understand it when I was, 12 or 13 or so.
Yeah, I don't know how as well, like, small kids held attention, because like 2 hours of someone stood on a podium talking about the Bible is a long time for a kid. So I'm surprised more kids don't fall asleep, to be honest.
That's a long time to be paying attention as a kid, especially.
So did you, before you left, was you having to give talks?
I did a few Bible readings, like there was some kind of short passage that somebody had to read before we studied it on I think it was on Friday nights for some reason, but I'm not sure. It was quite a long time ago. But yeah, I did that a couple of times, maybe a handful of times. I'm not sure. And I also did a few of those scenes where you pretend to be going, door knocking and speaking to people and that.
Did you enjoy having to do that, or?
It was a bit stressful. I didn't really like going up on stage speaking. I was shy. I didn't really like public speaking. It made me nervous. Yeah.
It did me. That started my anxiety, I realised years later. But you feel obliged, like you have to do it. Otherwise, you do get what they call cancelled on it, where they do come and speak to you about why aren't you doing talks. Like they pressure you into doing so many things, like just answering up at the meetings when they do the Watchtower answer discussion. I didn't answer up hardly any about the last 2 years I was in, and I was always getting a grilling about why aren't you answering up? Like the pressure they put you under to do all the participation, even if you don't want to. So why and when did you leave the Jehovah's Witness organization?
I left when I was about 16, 17, something like that. I sort of lost interest in going to the meetings, and one time my mother asked me, she was getting ready to go to the meeting, and she asked me, well, are you coming or are you not coming? So I said, no, I'm not going. So she went to the meeting without me, and I haven't been to a meeting since then.
And did you get hassle afterwards for not going?
I mean, I'd always be reminded by her or by my older siblings that I should return and all that, but I wasn't interested. I even studied all the way up to getting baptized, but then I said I can't go through with it. There was so much that was demanded of me, and I didn't think I could respect all those promises. So
you did the smart thing of not going ahead, and lucky for you that your parents weren't I can't think of the word, but lucky for you that you was able to make your own decision at 16 that you don't want to, you know what I mean? Because you've never been shunned, have you? Like your parents still talk to you. So you're lucky that you decided not to get baptized at that age, so you don't have to have the harsh consequences after. So was there anything in particular that made you think I don't believe this religion, or I don't want this religion?
After I stopped going to the meetings, it wasn't that I stopped believing. It was that I didn't think I was good enough to obey, to respect all the rules, and I didn't want to make a false promise, and that's why I stopped going. But later on, I discovered I didn't believe anymore in God, or and that was years later, probably.
So basically, you knew that if you got baptized, you was going to do things that would cause you to be disfellowshipped. So is that why you just thought, yeah, I'm not gonna?
I wasn't sure about that, but at the same time, I wasn't sure that I could, uphold the promises, and that's what I couldn't go through with it in good conscience. Yeah.
Karen has a question for you. I shall flash it up on the screen. So
The screen has frozen for about 5 minutes now. I can't see any movement.
Okay, I'll read it out to you. So if you've got any questions for Draven, then whack them in the comments. So Karen says, what do you think you have gained from being a JW?
It's a difficult question to answer.
If anything.
I mean, I learned to always tell the truth from my parents. I'm not sure if that's got anything to do with being a J-dub, or they're just being decent people. Well, I had a couple of friends that I would see when I would go to meetings, so there was a social aspect. And well, I don't know. It's hard to think of what was good about it, because my my view towards following a religion have changed drastically since then. And when it comes to seeing what you can get out of the Bible, for example, that's just, there's too much bad stuff to consider what's, if it's worth following any of it, really. That's the conclusion I got to after years of thought and discovering some disturbing things. No.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to touch on regards growing up a witness? And
I mean, yeah, I don't know if it was implied, but growing up as a witness, I was bullied throughout school years by the other kids, and yeah, I tried to keep my head up high, but I mean, you know how it is.
Yeah,
It's,
like,
it gets old fast.
Yes, especially like at school when you feel like you stick out from everybody else, and you can't blend in and you can't do the things that they do. It does leave you like really open to being ridiculed, bullied, and teased. Fortunately, I was one who didn't have it too bad. Like some kid in my class used to call me Mormon Bourbon, even though like I wasn't a Mormon, but he just kept calling me that because he thought it was funny. And I used to get like Jobo and a few things, but I never really experienced anything really bad. So I suppose I was lucky that way.
Yeah, you were. Yeah. I mean, I got a lot worse happen to me, so yeah.
Sorry to hear that. So do you think your life has been better after leaving? Like, do you have any regrets of leaving the organisation?
Regrets? No. Has it been better? I mean, I haven't had to live with constant looking over my shoulder and feeling guilty about everything, like I did when I was trying to follow the J-Dub's rules. I think that's the biggest sort of gain that I got from leaving. So after I discovered that the Bible is not something to be taken seriously, I stopped feeling like I was a worthless sinner. Like I felt a bit better about myself and raised my self-esteem a bit. Can't say it's been revolutionary or anything like that, but yeah.
So you think, obviously, like growing up as a witness, you're not allowed to go to college and university, and so would you have felt guilty for like actually getting a career? Because obviously you're not allowed a career because you're supposed to go and knock doors and.
I didn't see that when I was growing up. My parents did want me to get a career. It's just that, according to them, what I wanted to do was not practical. You see, I mean, according to my father, my mother was supportive with everything I wanted to do, career-wise and hobby-wise and everything else. But yeah, I was told that following a career in arts and becoming a painter, that's just, you don't want to do that because that's not practical and not pragmatic. It's not going to bring you a good living.
I was talking about that with Rachel the other day because we were saying like how many Ex Jehovah's Witnesses are actually like really artistic, and the talents that would have gone to waste with us being stuck in the organization, because they're like people that don't know, they're always like, that's not going to be a skill needed after Armageddon in the new system, so there's no point doing that. So, you know, a lot of schools, they say, oh, there's no point, you know, you're not going to be beneficial, and a lot of things do take time to go to college and university to get a degree to do certain things, which obviously you're supposed to be door knocking and concentrating on that and not doing anything else. So do you think it helped you come in, because obviously people who don't know you're from Romania, do you think it helped you coming to the UK and getting out of your family Jehovah's Witness environment?
I mean, maybe. Definitely helped me to learn to live on my own strength. I mean, figure things out for myself and make a living for myself and not have to depend on family to support me. That's for sure. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it helped that I sort of started learning the language of English when I was, well, maybe 14 or something like that. So by the time I got to school, I had learned quite a few words and a few phrases and all that.
Which you have learnt very well, because we always joke about how you correct my grammar.
Yeah, I do.
Which is quite funny, because you write better English than what I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let me get back onto comments here.
Am I still visible in the show? Because I can't see either of our pictures.
Yeah. Oh, you're still freezing. No, you're fine. So Karen says, do any of the teachings still affect you today, especially over the past year or so with COVID, fires all over the world and floodings?
I don't know
what to say. Because I know a lot of people get triggered, because we were always told like the sign of the times and all that kind of stuff. So I know a lot of people get triggered when there's floods and.
That's it's a very broad statement. The sign of the times. It's gonna be what is it called? There's going to be global events like drought and hunger and war. But was there ever a time when there wasn't a war or hunger or starving or people dying of thirst and all that around the world? Was there ever a time when there was really peace and prosperity for everyone?
Yeah. True.
I don't think so.
Mary says hi. And Mary has a comment. I don't know whether you agree with this. Mary said, English is a strange language to learn.
Is that all she said?
Yeah, Mary's the ex-Amish friend of mine. So I think, is it Pennsylvania Dutch, I think, they would have mostly spoke. Or I think she just spoke some angry German sometimes on a live. So did you find English difficult to learn?
I don't think so. I think I have a bit of an aptitude to learning languages. I've caught a few other, like couple of other languages just by watching TV shows and movies. So wasn't hard for me, I don't think. It was sort of organic because I used to watch a movie, most of which were made in America with American English. Pretty much every night, if not multiple movies. Ever since we got a television set in the common room,
right,
I would watch a movie like every night, I once did the math and figured out I had seen at least 2,000 hours worth of movies. So, you know, you catch phrase from this one and the phrase from that one, and soon enough.
Was she going around like talking like Bruce Lee or something? Like, depending on what films you watched, I can't imagine the phrases you'd pick up.
No, but there were common phrases that you would hear in different movies, like hello or hi, or, well, that's not a phrase, but I mean, there were common things. So, for example, like shut up, that I knew that was, close your mouth and don't speak.
Right.
There were things like that. There were patterns that started sort of falling into place. And then I started learning English when I was about, must have been 14 or something like that in school. So then I started learning proper grammar and how to spell words and everything else.
The stage that I seem to have skipped. Karen said he speaks better English than what you do. I agree. I am bad, like Karen. Oh. I find it funny though sometimes when I'll say something and you'll go, what? And I have to like try and explain like a slang word. But yeah, I've definitely taught you some new phrases. Anthony said he finds English difficult now. But, and Mary said, have the elders reproached you for the movie watching?
No, I just remember that my parents, they wouldn't really like me watching horror movies. Yeah.
Yeah. I hated the fact that we couldn't watch all the good movies. They had to just be like PG, which were pretty much boring. So I was going to touch on like how me and you randomly met, because like, it was quite random. Like, it was New Year's Eve 2017, and I was in the pub, and then you'd walk past on your own, and I said to my friend, go and ask that guy if he wants to come and sit with us. He's sat on his own. And that was like Kenny. And Kenny says, oh, I know Dan. I'll get him to come and sit with us. So then, from what I remember, because bear in mind it was New Year's Eve and I would have been very drunk, me and you ended up chatting outside, sitting outside the pub, and then for some reason one of us mentioned that we used to be a Jehovah's Witness, and then we were kind of like, no way, so did I. So it was kind of strange that you came all the way from Romania. I met you in the pub and you was an ex Jehovah's Witness, and we was just like, what are the chances of that? Yeah. So then, like, obviously we just started hanging out, and then it just came good friends. Anthony said he agrees with Karen too. What? That Dan speaks better English than me. If I switch between calling him Dan and Draven, it's because he recently changed his name to Draven by deed poll. So I do still call you Dan, because I called you Dan for about 3 years. So I switch between.
Yeah, that's okay, because I kind of have to go back to that name again for legal reasons and to renew my documents and so on.
That sucks.
It's a nightmare to actually change your name in Romania, and they won't deal with a changed name. Like, it's not a simple formality. It's just a minefield. When it comes to dealing with changing your name in Romania's administrative sort of setting. Anyway, I might do that next year if I'm still around, or I mean, if I'm still around in the UK, because I'm trying to get some settled status, so I can stick around for a while.
Cool. So, in 2018, you helped me, I think it was, to do, I think it was Watchtower Victims Memorial Day, where you came and helped me put up posters on the Kingdom Hall fence, and we put posters up around town. So, I wanted to touch on, like, why did you want to start helping me do activism stuff?
Because I heard about the horrible things that were being covered up by the Watchtower, and I was shocked, and I couldn't believe that. And you know, I couldn't believe I didn't know about everything that happened while I was in the organization. So I mean, I sort of thought, I have to do something about this. I can't just do nothing. And
well, I'm very grateful that you started helping me. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
Just saying that I wanted to, also be supportive of your efforts.
Which I really appreciate, like, because you and Anthony are always there when I'm like, let's go and put posters up here, and you're always like, okay, let's do it. So then in August 2018, I've uploaded some photos. We went to the London protest.
Yep.
And it took us a long time to get there. We got lost, and then some parking attendants sent us to the wrong car park, and we ended up the entire other end of this massive arena. So yes. I'd made this banner, and that's the banner. JW children, if you've been abused, you are not alone. Report it to the police, not the elders. So we got there, and because my dad can't walk very well, he was in a wheelchair. So I was pushing my dad in the wheelchair, and I said to Draven and Anthony, well, while we're walking through the arena, which was jam-packed of hundreds of Jehovah's Witnesses, let's put the banner up.
Yeah.
While
and there was also a Comic-Con going on.
But yeah. Oh yeah, Comic-Con, yeah, in the same building. So they stood with this big banner above my head, the poles either side, and we walked through the arena, and we got about 3/4 way down, I think. And then security came up to us and says, you need to take that down. You're not allowed the banners inside. Well, because we were late by getting lost, we missed the prep talk that the activists were giving to let us know what we were allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do. So we wasn't aware of this. So then the security guard says, right, I'll help you get through the crowd anyway. So we stood in front of people, stood in front of my dad's wheelchair and moved people out of the way. So we had like a clear run to get to where we had to stand outside. And then when we told people at the protest what had happened, they were like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. And we was like, well, we didn't know we weren't supposed to have the banner up. So it was genuinely a mistake. So there's you and Ant outside with the banner. Here's another close-up of the banner. Your T-shirt.
Yes, I've got it out. I was thinking about wearing it, but the red was peeling off, so I was like,
oh. Well, if you give it me back, I'll redo it. So then, I wrote down the major activism we did. So then you came with me to the child sex abuse Watchtower study, where they studied that article. And I know, because we had to go into the Kingdom Hall for the meeting, that made me feel very intense. And there's videos on my channel where I literally had to have like 2 large brandies to get me into the Kingdom Hall for the first time. And I think it was 21, 22 years. How did you feel going back into the Kingdom Hall that day?
Like I didn't belong. I was expecting for us to be turned around and say, not accepted to going in the hall, because I thought we looked like a bit, odd and out of place.
Yeah.
I was surprised we were even let in, and then I didn't like all the kingdom melodies and singing, and the prayers and all that. I sort of I'm a
Anthony
bit.
said, sorry, can you see the screen yet?
Yeah, he said he got nudged by a couple of J-dubs walking through. My screen unfroze for about a few minutes now. And that he was talking about the arena in London where the protest was in 2018. Right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Karen says, "You were so brave doing that." Yeah. It sort of
It was
felt,
hard.
tedious going back into a kingdom hall and having to go through the song and the prayer and all that.
Yeah. And the fact that the first person that came up to us was my mum's best friend. And she was like, "Do you need a seat?" But I'm not sure whether she'd realised it was me, because I think she said it to you or Anthony. And then I was like, whoa, that's awkward. And then they had to move people from the back row where they were sitting to move them forward to sit us on the back row. So then we had like an attendant elder sat right behind us. So I don't know whether that was tactical on their part, probably.
I don't know, but yeah.
They put us right to the back. But
yeah, it was.
Again, you can, if you go and look on my channel, Judge Me Unforgiven, on YouTube, we videoed some of it where right at the end I stood up and basically said child sex abuse is not a sin, it's a crime. And then the guy on the platform actually agreed with me. Now, if you think I was sat at the back of the hall and the guy on the platform agreed, and then they said something about, so what should we do? And I shouted out, phone the police.
Yeah.
But when I spoke out first, the guy tried to drown me out with a Kingdom melody by playing a song really loud. But I'd already finished my sentence. And even the two elderly women in front of us were laughing, because it was just like, yeah, I've said what I needed to say anyway. But after, at the end, I turned to say something to you and you'd already gone. Because as soon as the song started, I was like, right, let's get out of it. And I went to say, and you'd already gone anyway at the back. And then I saw you was talking to the attendant guy on the door. And then we came out, and I said to him, I said to you, what was you saying to him? And you were saying something about you're as bad or worse than the Catholic Church, I think you said to him.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, like, he would have been my brother-in-law if my sister was still married to his brother.
Right. Well, I didn't know. I didn't care. I just had to say that to someone there.
Yeah. I thought it was funny, and fair play to you for saying that.
Yeah, it got me really angry that people just listened to that day's study being read and they didn't react. They were all just looking at their magazines and not reacting. It was just made my blood boil. It was so bad.
Yeah. Mary said, was it scary? Did it affect you mentally?
Going to the Kingdom Hall, or
I think what? So, yeah.
Raj. I mean, like I said, it just made me angry looking at people, and I was expecting them to have a reaction when the guy on the podium said that the abuser may stay in the congregation if he repents. And there just was nothing. I couldn't believe it. I was just shocked.
Yeah. Anthony said it was hard for me that day at the Kingdom Hall, so can't imagine what it was like for you two. Well, yeah, I don't think Anthony's going back there again in a rush.
Yeah, no.
For me though, like I had to mentally switch off. Like at one point, I think I even turned around to Ant and said, "Have they just read that paragraph where it says they're allowed to remain in the congregation?" Because I was just on Facebook looking at my phone and I had to totally switch off, which is what I used to do at the meetings anyway. So I don't know whether it was just my natural reaction or whether it's because I just didn't want to sit and listen to that bullshit again. But I had to go to that child sex abuse meetings to be there and actually hear it read for myself. And also I used to be in a lot of JW groups on Facebook, and they used to say that I was lying about their policies. And the other reason I went is because I can turn around to them and say, I was there. I heard what was read. I saw with my own eyes on black and white that article. So you can't tell me I'm lying. I was literally there. I won't be in a rush to go back. But after that, we actually came back to mine and got some posters, and we sat outside the Kingdom Hall practically for the rest of the day, because there was 3 congregations going to that meeting at the time. So we attended the first meeting. Then we went and got posters and sat there for when the next meeting was coming in and going out. And then for the third meeting, we sat there when people were coming in and going out. So, and we had a few people look like they were looking at us from the car park, but none of them came over. But we had some, what are they, PCSOs, like police, street warden police?
Yeah.
And I remember I think it was that time, wasn't it? They stopped and came over to us, and I was like, have they rang the police on us? And she says, no, we just drove past and wondered, like, out of curiosity, what you was doing. So then I was like, oh, okay, because I thought they'd rang police on us protesting, but they won't ring the police when a kid's being sexually molested. So then obviously we were able to tell them about, what goes on there. And then we had a few other people. I think that's the time that girl stopped and spoke to us and thanked us for doing what we're doing. So yeah. What did Mary say? It's disassociation to survive. Yeah, it separates you from what's happening to keep you safe. Hugs. Yeah. Like I felt I had to switch off. I think I drank plenty of brandy that day as well. So yeah, it was harsh getting back there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I don't know. Right now, the way I remember things is, at least in the last 2 or 3 years that I used to go to meetings, I went because I thought I had to. I thought there was no other way. I didn't really enjoy any of the. I mean, I didn't really enjoy any of the speeches or the study or all that. Don't know. Felt like a waste of time and. Well, anyway, go on.
Before I forget to ask, and Karen's question: why did you come to the UK? Any particular reason?
A few reasons. I could speak the language, and I thought I could make a better life for myself here, which turned out to be true. I think if I had stayed back in my country of origin, I would have struggled to survive on my own. Yeah, there's a huge difference of income and cost of living compared to the income. So, given the fact that I had no qualification and no superior studies to have a good job back in Romania, I couldn't support myself working a menial job like I can here. It was like that.
Well, you always work hard here in a full-time job, don't you? So
as much as I can, yeah.
So Mary said, is it in general a difficult process to change your name in Romania?
I mean, depends how you look at it. You can easier change your name if you get married. For example, you change your last name to your spouse's name, or you add your spouse's name to yours. That's not a big deal, I think. The bigger deal is getting married, which is, not for everyone.
Say that again.
But yeah, if you don't like your name and you change all of it, like I did, then it's a huge deal because the government, they don't like it. I think, like, I had to speak with somebody from the consulate recently, and I'm renewing my passport, and they said to me, "Yeah, you can't get your passport with your new name because if you do that, if you want to have your new name on your passport, then you have to go back to Romania and fill out a bunch of paperwork personally, and then wait for who knows how long, and eventually, sometime from now until the cold death of the universe, you would get your papers with your new name on."
Right.
So I'm temporarily going back to my original name, which is hopefully going to help me get things sorted faster.
I'll keep my fingers crossed for you.
Thanks. I'm going to need you to sign a new deed poll and get another person to sign it as well. So
that's the only time I'm willing to be a witness again, is to do that.
Right.
So, going back to our activism, we went to the London protest again in 2019. And then in October, we did a car appearance. I don't like calling them car crashes because I think that makes it sound a lot harsher than what we actually do. So in October, Sam from Utah, who is an ex-Mormon bishop, was doing a protest to protect every child. So we went to a local shopping centre where the JW carts pitch up their car, and right next to them we pitched up our own car with lots of information on about protecting every child. And this is how close we were to you can see their cart there. We were right there. So here's you proudly, hold on, let me take that off. Here's you proudly holding your banner. Mary said, good luck.
Thank you, Mary.
So yeah, this protest, I think they were there for about an hour and a half before they packed up and left. But I mean, we had some guy. Was he from Hong Kong? I should have uploaded the picture of him. Was it
I think he was from around there, yes.
He stopped and spoke to us and had a picture took with our sign. And then I remember there was an elderly gentleman asked us as we were just putting everything up, and he said, are you protesting them? And we explained yes, and said why. And then after speaking to us for a while, he just said, oh, I'm going to walk the long way back round now. I don't even want to walk past them again. So, obviously just us standing there, it does work. It got the word out to people. And then after that, let me think, right, we're up to 2020. We did another car appearance because the Watchtower was blatantly saying that everything we said was apostate lies. And obviously they're referring to us telling people about the child sex abuse issues and that kind of stuff. So again, this is how close we pitched right up to their cart, and we was literally there for, was it
10 minutes?
10 minutes. As soon as we got there, they were on the phone, right? And I just joked or bet that's about us. And literally 10 minutes later, and the guy that was there was actually, would have been my ex-father-in-law. No, not mine, that's my sister's ex-husband's dad. Yeah. So yeah, anyway. So they literally packed up and left within about 10 minutes, and we was like, whoa, wasn't expecting that. So then Anthony had the brilliant idea of following them to find out where they've gone. So we left it about 20 minutes, and Anthony come back and he says, they've moved over to the train station. They stood out there. Should we go and follow them? So we did. And we sat right next to them again. So there they are in the top corner, and this is how close we were to them again. You can see the corner of our poster there. And they literally lasted like 5 minutes and packed up and went. So then we left the parting gift of putting our banners on the Kingdom Hall fence. So we've had some entertaining times doing cart appearances, but obviously they're not there now, so we haven't been able to do any of that last year. It's felt strange not being able to go out and do physical activism, because quite often me, you and Anthony would take walks and just leave posters and stickers in places for the public to read, and I'd leave them in like public toilets. So it's been weird having like almost a full year now where I haven't been able to do a lot of physical activism. So we did in February as well, sharing shoes, where you did your own little thing as well. So here's us proudly outside the Kingdom Hall after we'd put all our stuff on the steps. So basically it was you put a pair of shoes down and you leave a story about it's based around child sex abuse. So this was your personal one that you did. I don't know if you wanted to read that, what you wrote.
It's hard to see right now. Says these are a very special pair of shoes with an extraordinary tale to tell. I represent one of thousands of kids who were scared into refusing blood transfusions after a serious accident injured them. Me. Oh. I also represent a victim of domestic abuse who was silenced by the elders and told the only acceptable grounds for divorce for my parents is adultery charges. Then I wrote, Watchtower keeps shunning and silencing victims to protect the image they built in the public eye. And yeah, I know it's a bit of a different sort of look at some of the different issues that have plagued people who who are J-dubs.
So did that make you feel good as well, being able to put your own personal bit in there?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think the blood issue is a big issue because it's cost a lot of people their lives, and that's shouldn't happen, shouldn't be allowed to happen.
Yeah. It's so tragic, the amount of people that have lost loved ones through not being able to have blood transfusions, something that's totally avoidable. And then even though we couldn't do much physical activism last year, we still went and did the Watchtower Victims Memorial Day. So again, you put up your own poster.
Yeah. I wrote, in memory of all the lives destroyed by shunning, sexual abuse, the two witness rule, the suicides, the no blood policy, and mental illness caused by Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Pennsylvania, publishers of Jehovah's Witnesses literature.
And because you knew it was going to get taken down, you also wrote a note on the back, which I've never thought to do myself.
Yeah, I said, if you think we lie and we're making things up, do your own research and prove it. You claim to be to be in the truth and to have the truth by your side. Do your research. What do you have to lose? If you're right, you have nothing to worry about.
Yep. So hopefully the person that takes that down, because I swear somebody spies on us, because whenever we put up activism posters, we used to put the posters on the Kingdom Hall fence, walk over the road to the train station, put flyers in there, and then when we come out about 20 minutes later, all the posters will be gone.
Yeah, I think it was faster than that. It's really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to mention something. Growing up as a J-Dub, whenever some kind of thing was even mentioned sort of against the organization, I think I would blank it out. And I spent a long time simply ignoring, going, putting fingers in my ears and sort of going la la la, and I'm not listening, I'm not looking at this. And I was, what do you call it, purposefully ignorant of the problems. Thank you, Karen. I think I was scared to even find out if something was wrong, even if it was wrong. You see. So I didn't really look into it. Whenever I would see something that would speak against religion and especially the Jehovah's Witnesses, I would just think, oh, he's just some guy who, well, who knows what. He's got some shady reasons to do this and all that. That's what I think.
Kind of being defensive about it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, sorry, Karen.
I seriously wouldn't verify any claims against the organization for any reason when I was in, because I was so scared of just what I could find out. I thought, what if I find out something that's, real and it's wrong and it makes me just not go anymore, not believe anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, because it turned your whole world upside down. So there's even some things now that I don't know what I believe, because I've never really wanted to get back into trying to figure out my beliefs. But then it's like I dropped all my beliefs, but I haven't replaced all those beliefs, if that makes sense. Like evolution and creation, I don't believe in creation, but I'm not sure about evolution. So there's a lot of things that I know I don't believe in, but there's a lot of things I'm not sure. But to me, those things aren't important. Like, that's not going to make a difference to my life. So I tend not to dwell on those kind of things anymore.
Right. Well, you heard it here first. If you haven't heard it before, evolution is a fact, and there's no need to believe in it like in faith. And Mary, that's absolutely true. Sorry, go on.
I've had some long discussions with Anthony about evolution and the dinosaurs, because we weren't allowed to believe in dinosaurs and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've had some chats with you and Anthony about evolution and that kind of thing. So
I think if all people from all around the world would understand evolution and biology, I think it would help them realize that we're not that different. You know, us humans, you know, even men and women, we're not that different. And I think it would help people sort of be more kind and more loving towards each other, despite their apparent differences.
Yeah.
Well, you say it doesn't make a difference to you if, well, I'm not sure if that's what you meant, that it doesn't make a difference to you if evolution is a fact or not. But I think it could make a difference to some people.
It's just something that I've never really dwelled on. Like, I will listen to people's knowledge on the matter, but then it's not something that I really want to like study for myself to prove it to myself, kind of thing.
Yeah, I did look deeply into it, and yeah, I used to be doubtful about it because you know how it is when you don't believe in evolution and you don't think it's got any ground to stand on. You sort of think, why is this person saying I evolved from a monkey? Do I look like a monkey? It's that sort of ego, you know.
So I've uploaded some pictures because I wanted to show that me and you end on a good note. We've had some, should we say, fun times.
Why are you saying it like that?
Like
Are
what?
we,
As in
like,
crazy, because we're a bit nuts, so we've had some like fun times.
why do you say we're ending on a good note?
Well, because like talking about what it was like being a kid as a Jehovah's Witness, and so I just thought, you know, we could end with some. Actually, that's not necessarily true because I did want to read some more of the stories that people have told me, like abuse survivors, at the end of the show, because I want to get into the habit of doing that to get the stories out there more. So yeah, that was a fun night.
Some of the fun times we had, yeah.
So Halloween, that was an interesting night. New Year's Eve, like we're always messing around. Like we very rarely do like serious photographs.
I was making such weird faces then.
I do it all the time now. I'm like, come on, let's just pull faces. Like that one still makes me laugh. Great.
Yeah, I really don't like this picture because of how I turned up in it.
I think it's funny.
I thought I was making a scary face, but I was making a what the fuck is that face?
Yeah. Anyway, hopefully, you know, because I've hardly seen you because of COVID and all the shit that's going on. So hopefully in the next few months we might be able to get together for a drink because it's been a hell of a long time.
Yeah.
So what I was going to go on.
As long as it doesn't turn into too many drinks, because I kind of don't want to drink till I'm, you know, yeah.
There you go. Nice compliment from Karen.
Oh, thank you, Karen. I don't know. I'm kind of done with getting drunk on alcohol. It doesn't suit me. It's just I don't know how to handle it.
I know how you handle it.
Yeah, that's not a good way to handle it.
It just like really gives me energy. It does the opposite to you. So it's kind of when we're together, it's conflicting because I'm still blasting out tunes at 3:00 in the morning and you're asleep on my sofa, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, because I when I do that, when I come around and we eat and we drink, I get, you know, I eat too much too fast. I drink too much too fast.
You eat too much. Never done. I'm still shocked that you managed to eat. Like, that plate is huge. I can't even put that plate in the microwave because it won't turn around. So yeah, Dan is a big fan of my spaghetti bolognese.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully soon we'll be able to have a spag bol and some red wine, not too much red wine. So, is there anything you want to? Sorry.
I suppose we could do. I could do a glass or two of red, but that's it. No more.
Okay.
That's plenty.
We'll see. Is there any comments you want to make before I read these stories?
Stories?
Yeah, I've got four stories I'm going to read from my my victim stories.
Oh.
Karen's calling you a lightweight.
Yeah, I am a lightweight. Unless you count my actual weight, which is, well, a bit much. But anyway.
You're a tall guy, Dan.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, I'm not exactly underwear model, so. Yeah.
Who of us are? So, and I keep interrupting you, sorry. I was going to say, any last comments before?
I was going to say, you said you wanted to end this on a good note, and then you're going to read stories about victims. What?
Yeah, I kind of forgot that. You know me, Dan, I'm a scatterbrain.
You're welcome to do it. Obviously, you're the boss. Just saying.
So, for those those that don't know, I've got a page for my Ex Jehovahs Witnesses True Stories of Abuse, where I publish lots of victim stories that people have told me. I can do them anonymously. If you don't want to put your name to them, that's fine. So because some of these I've published a while ago, I wanted to actually just start reading them out to get awareness of the stories. And my camera is always right in front of the page where I need to read from. So, when I told the Jehovah's Witness elders about my abuse at the hands of my stepmother and begged them to help me, they told me I needed to pray and that would fix it. When I went back to them and told them it was worse than ever, they told me it was because I didn't have enough faith. Not once did they tell me to call the police or to report her. Growing up, my little brother, older sister, and I were severely beaten by our Jehovah's Witness, regular pioneer stepmother, starting at the ages of 4, 6, and 13. Sister tried to tell and got publicly reproved for slander. Elders called her a liar. Nobody asked brother and me if it was true. She had to eat in a room and we weren't allowed to talk to her. Stepmother punched her in her breast over and over while curled up in a corner. We were taught never to tell. I don't know how many hairbrushes were broken over my sister and my back by our Jehovah's Witness mother beating us. The first time I thought about suicide, I was 8 years old. When my twin sister and I were 9, my father remarried a Jehovah's Witness woman. For the next 4 years, our stepmother alienated us from our mother and abused us in every way imaginable except sexually. She left that up to her brother, who would come in our rooms at night when he visited to tuck us in. He would kiss us on the mouth and rub his erect penis on our vaginas. When it all came out in the open, our father had to step down as a ministerial servant and was formally reproved. No punishment was given to my stepmother or her brother. So, yeah.
What the fuck? These people.
4 more victims at the hand of the Jehovah's Witness organization. Yeah, this will end on a good note. Cameron said you are very slim.
Yeah, Karen, you haven't seen my middle area. And I'm not offering to show it. I'm just saying. Yeah, my wrists are slim, but everybody's wrists are slim.
Not really. I've got bony broad wrists.
Yeah.
Big wrists. So anyway, thank you for joining me and having a chat about.
But anyway, thanks for the kind words, Karen and Mary, I think it was.
Yeah.
Sorry if I interrupted. Go on.
So yeah, I think Karen's talking about the victim stories. So anybody who wants their stories out there, contact me. Facebook, you can contact the page or contact me direct. Emma Mella. On YouTube, I'm Judge Me Unforgiven. On Twitter, I've changed my name to We Shall Rise Against You. So if you want to contact me, I can put your story out there for you, because the more we get out into the public, it will stop people joining the harmful religion that it is. So thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for your comments. It's been fun. So we shall speak to you soon.
All right.
Bye. Don't fuck off yet, Dan.
Bye.
Bye everybody.
Have a good day.